Punch it, Chewy. Thank you, Chantel, for that cue. We are live, but not before we play that wonderful countdown, because we got to wake you up, girl. You ready?
I know. Yes, go.
You ready to get woken up?
Yes.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
It's true. Welcome, everybody, to the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast live. Scarif live. Chantel, how you doing?
Sleepy.
Oh no. Let's wake you up. But I hope you were able to kind of refresh yourself with that little countdown. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us in the chat. What's up, people? Who's in the chat? We got Frank. What's up, my people? We got DJ. DJ is a wonderful Red 5 member, and he just did some trooping just recently in his neck of the woods. Shared some pictures with us. Really fantastic stuff. I love Star Wars fans who get dressed up. Don't you?
Me too. Yes. I love a good cosplay.
Absolutely. Joey Rosales is in the house. Thank you, Joy, for joining us here on this very special edition. So we are going to be chatting with our friend Dominic Pace, who we will see this weekend here in Chicago for ScarifCon, and I'm super excited. I went to the comic book store, AlleyCat, today to kind of test things that need to be tested. The internet and things like that. Nicole's in the house. Dale's in the house. Thank you for joining us. It's going to be exciting. This is kind of like a little preview of what's to come. Dominic will join us in a while, but we also have Greg from Rebel Base Card, who is a wonderful Chicago pod. If you have not listened to his podcast, please let's pop him up and say hello. He's dancing backstage.
Got the coffee, got the big mug, so I'm all caffeinated up. But thank you for having me. Oh.
Excellent. No, not a problem. So we're going to see you and a few other people at ScarifCon, AlleyCat Comics here in Chicago this weekend. I am super excited. Like I said, there you go. Oh, yeah. Wearing your Dominic Pace shirt. I was cleaning my giveaway stuff, and I guess this is one that I forgot to give away. It's not that I forgot. It's not that I forgot to give it away. I wanted to keep it for myself. So. Dominic Pace, last year's tour shirt, also always awesome. So everybody's coming to Chicago to see our friend Dominic. I am super excited about that. What do you guys think? Cannot wait.
I can't wait.
Absolutely. And we're going to ask him. He's backstage right now. We're going to ask him how the tour is going, what his experience has been like, and he's been doing this for 2 years now, I think. And it's just a wonderful thing. He goes around and meets Star Wars fans and hangs out with them, and really, it's a wonderful thing that he's doing, helping out small business. I'll get him on here so he can explain it, because it's just really cool. And to be part of that, especially as he rolls through Chicago, and have not only him but just all of our friends to kind of hang out. And we did that last year. We had Dan show us his gecko tattoo on his leg, which was amazing. Cool. Mm-hmm. And Shanti, you will meet him this weekend. Wonderful guy, and I hope he makes it in the chat. Nicole is going to be here on Saturday, which is awesome. We get to meet so many people, so many friends. Let's bring in Dominic, because he's backstage. He's not dancing, but maybe we can get him to dance on Saturday. But here we go. Mr. Dominic Pace, how's it going?
I'm going great. Can you hear me okay? I'm in a small town a little bit east of St. Louis.
That's okay. You're in a small town, but we got some big audio. So thank you very much for joining us here. How's the tour going, my friend?
It's been absolutely amazing. I mean, we're just hitting on all fronts. Most importantly, father-son. My older son, 16 years old, he was holed up for a good year and a half there with everything that went down. And of course, being in quarantine in high school has got to be the worst thing. So just to be able to have this priceless father-son trip, we've been getting some history in, but most importantly, hitting the small business again. We already raised over $4,000 for charity, over $6,000 for small business. That's including Anchorage, Alaska, Hilo, Hawaii.
Wow.
It's just been a dream come true. And then, of course, I don't know if you're familiar with LFL and what transpired over the past month. I'm happy to tell your listeners. Basically, we got ambitious here. We had such a successful tour with such a small Wilbur Hood-like opportunity, blue snaggletooth opportunity there last year, that Marvel wanted to use the character. They just, unfortunately, it was kind of this Chevy Chase sort of Christmas story thing where it went from upper management to middle management, and they didn't want to have any characters in there for The Mandalorian. Well, I had just an amazing group of fans that got behind me, and they said, well, what about a fan fiction comic? You did so well with the small businesses. I'll give you another chance to go ahead and promote the character. So that's what we did. LFL obviously got a little concerned at first, but they reached out to me, their PR department. They said, look, we love everything that you're doing. Just go ahead, just out of respect to Marvel, give it away for free. Make the fans happy. That's what we're doing. For me, the ultimate goal is just to promote Gecko, to promote small business, and just to have this amazing experience, not only with the Star Wars community, but with my two beautiful sons, Bennett last year, who was 12, and my older son, Dante, who's 16. I just can't say enough good things. It's just been an absolute dream come true.
Absolutely. You guys have any questions for Dominic? I don't want to, overtake the stream here, but Greg, Shanti?
I do, since I'm still, I guess you could say I'm new to this group, so I haven't really seen anything, involving you with Scarif yet. But I guess what made you decide to want to do this tour? Was it because of the pandemic and wanting to support small businesses, or was it something you started beforehand?
I think we hit on all different levels. I think, all of our dreams that you can hit a number of goals. The first thing and foremost is being that Gecko is a small side character. I found a lot of parallels to the small businesses in that they are not the Costco. They're not an A-list actor. And I found so many parallels to the fact that my entire business was shut down, to where you have the government saying that there are businesses that are non-essential. For me, I just don't believe in that. I think the ultimate American spirit are those people that in the small towns who get up every day and make it happen. I've been at this business for 25 years. Nothing has come easy in any way, shape, or form. Every single role, and even small roles that you see on IMDb, have just been with blood, sweat, and tears. So it was initially going to be sort of in the C-list room, the D-list room of a lot of these Comic-Cons, which I would have been honored to have been part of. I was invited to over 25 different Comic-Cons throughout the world, including South America, Europe, even Tokyo. But I just figured, you know what? When life hands you lemons, as cliche as it is, let's figure out how to parlay this. Go ahead and promote the character. There was no sort of qualms whatsoever that I was any star of The Mandalorian, but just to go out there and show my pride, a 1985 pride, so to speak, in that, the rare characters are sometimes special, but also to sort of give an opportunity, for the mental health, not only of my own family, but also at the same time, the Star Wars community who does so much at these charitable organizations, the 501st Legion, the Mandalorian Mercs, the Rebel Legion for their local community, and not to mention just to kind of give a little bit of a flag to the small towns where they thought that, some businesses were closed, an opportunity to maybe get on their feet. I ruled out any agents. So what I did was basically tell the store owners, look, if you can give me a hotel, great. If you can't, don't worry about it. But I want to give you 15% of all the sales. We managed to raise over $25,000 for small businesses, over 50 comic book stores last year. And then just going back to what I was saying in regards to other aspirations, I was promoting my character because I can't tell you how passionate I am about being a member of the Star Wars community and wanting to see this character prosper. But then also, not growing up with a dad myself, to be able to have this priceless 11,000-mile road trip with my younger son last year was just beyond words. Sometimes we may not have that father figure there for us. I think Star Wars, we're able to relate in so many ways. Empire Strikes Back, whether it's a daughter or a son. But sometimes we have that opportunity in life to do it on the flip side, to where we can go ahead and be an inspiration for our sons and for our daughters, to be that father figure that maybe we missed out on. So it's just been amazing, but so contagious from this amazing, incredible, stay away from all the negativity, because I'll tell you, the Star Wars community is so positive. I haven't had one bad experience, one bad stop, no matter what the volume's been.
It's so wonderful.
That is
awesome.
And
by the way, there are no small parts, only small actors. So every part counts.
Yeah, that's right. Chantel's
so
dream
much,
is.
And I agree with you 100%.
I was going to say, sorry,
I just
go ahead.
wanted to always make it forward when I do these appearances, just to let people know that I'm not trying to pass myself off as anything other than those really unique side characters, which I agree with you. And the other thing, too, I love that message of there are not only no small parts, but just the fact that Gecko is his own species. I made a message to some of the young adults about 2 weeks ago of just, if you maybe feel alone or you might feel different in school, just to understand that there is that vulnerability even with us as adults. So I'd like to believe that Gecko might have a little bit of inspiration for some of the youth in our country, and that, you should be confident with no matter who you are, believe in yourself, because I'm out here on my own marching up and down, and I hope there's a parallel to that with a lot of the young adults who might be different or might be unique or may not be the most popular in the show.
One of the things that I wanted to say, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I know, 4 people in a room, right? What I really liked is following the progress and seeing some of these reports, like, from news organizations that, on some of these smaller towns you hit, and it really means a lot to someone who comes from a very small town. My town was like 1,201 stoplight. But a lot of these folks looked like they were really just so happy that someone was coming up there to see them, because they don't have a chance maybe to go to some of the bigger cons, or they don't like, and also everybody's been trapped for about a year and a half. What's been some of the reaction that you have gotten in some of the places that are maybe a little more out of the way, and that has really kind of hit you right, right there?
Yeah. Extremely humbled all the way through, and all the compliments mean the world. LFL PR reached out to me there about a month ago, and they said, look, reach out to us when you can, and just keep us posted. So now I am, and I'm letting them know about the positive impact that I'm having. Look, Peter Mayhew was such an amazing inspiration and such a great ambassador to the Star Wars community, along with Jeremy Bullock. And the one thing for me that I just want them to know is that I just want to be that light for people. I don't want to sit here and preach. I don't want to sit here and get dramatic. I want entertainment, and I want the love of entertainers from Hollywood to just go back to making people happy. And for me, there would just be no other better dream than to be able to be that ambassador from people from all walks of life, to be that Star Wars ambassador. And I think you feel it becomes infectious with the appearances. And I just can't tell you how grateful I am, because, again, we're not one of the stars. But when you hear things like that on the news where people are excited to come see me, I just can't tell you how grateful I am, and I can't do enough for them in return to sort of give them that positivity.
Yeah, I just put up on the screen, our buddy DJ drove 3.5 hours to go see you in Albuquerque, shared a picture with us, and we've got obviously people coming this weekend to Chicago from all over. We've got friends from Colorado, Shanti's from Miami, Greg, well, he's from LaGrange, but that's right around the corner. But yeah, we've got a lot of people coming to Chicago, and I went over to AlleyCat today to kind of prep them, because I think we need to knock down a wall for next year because this is getting bigger and bigger every year. So I wanted to ask you, Dominic, what I guess a little bit of a follow-up. You've had mayors give you keys to the city last year. You had all sorts of wonderful people come and join you. What are some of the accolades that really have surprised you this year coming along?
Well, this year in Houston, I was given Dominic Pace Day by the mayor of Houston.
Wow.
I guess, I'm honored and I'm flattered, but also I guess what goes through my head is, obviously knowing that Dave and John and Kathleen, I'm sure they're familiar with what's going on. It's a little uncomfortable because it's almost like a secretary of, say, a major corporation coming up and saying, look, screw the CEO, screw all the assistant directors of the company. We love the guy down in the mailroom. We want to reward him. But you know what I said, in the most humble way, it's just, I think maybe, and again, I can't stress enough humble. Maybe it was the hero that people needed, to where it's, no disrespect to these A-listers, but look, in Hollywood, we've got 60,000 people that are homeless on the street. I respect them for going ahead and trying to cheer people up by singing Kumbaya, Madonna in her bathtub saying, hey, we're just like, we got to roll up our sleeves and get our hands dirty. And maybe the best message might have been from one of the 99%ers of the actors like myself, to where it's saying, hey, there might come a day country to where the only things that are going to help us out are each other, the middle class, to be able to pick each other up. So even though, again, I'm not Pedro, I'm not Gina or Carl, maybe it was the best representative for the Star Wars universe because I'm able to relate as one of them, knowing what the struggle is of trying to find the next job. I think it's a beautiful documentary because I think the parallels of being a bounty hunter and an independent contractor and a small business owner are very similar in that you don't know where the next job is going to be. I think that's why we're rooting for bounty hunters in so many ways throughout the Star Wars universe. And I hope Gecko, again, will not only have an impact within the Star Wars universe, but hopefully this message that we have throughout the country will be something very positive in regards to the American spirit of just busting your butt and helping those who help themselves.
Absolutely. So, Dominic, for next year, I need you to call Kathleen Kennedy and tell her to hire me to follow you with a camera crew. So I'll produce the documentary for next year's tour, and we'll have something real good, real good.
Well,
I wanted to ask you.
I just have some great news to share. I don't know if anyone's familiar. Yeah. Oh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There is just going to be more of a celebration. They have been kind enough to give me my first licensed piece, and it revolves around Celebration. Again, we don't have the Black Series or the 3.75, but it couldn't have been a better sort of a gift from them, and we'll be able to celebrate that next year. And I'm going to do a quick tour next year. No paid signings, but just a way to say thank you to the community with this licensed piece. People can pre-order it, or they don't even have to order it at all, but just a way of me saying thank you to the community and celebrating for maybe perhaps some of the local causes that this amazing 501st Legion does throughout the country there.
That's awesome.
That's so
Amazing,
nice.
amazing.
Really wonderful.
And obviously, we're all in your corner. We're all hoping to see that official Black Series action figure. I've told you many, many times. I've got a spot reserved right there on my third wall here. Because I got more Black Series over there, but that's another story.
There's at least 4 walls, right? 4 walls, right?
At least 4 walls.
All right.
And Dominic, I know you're traveling all over the place with your sons. I mean, it's got to be such a wonderful feeling to experience all this with them and then see the world. And I know you've traveled before, but to see the world again through their eyes. Can you talk a little bit about how that must feel as not only just a working actor doing this, but just as a dad?
Absolutely. Priceless. My grandfather was a major father figure for me. He was World War II, 4th Infantry. My maternal grandfather, William Tagliaferri Sr. My Italian parents, I mean, I have no hard feelings. They just were 2 alphas that just didn't make, strength to the alpha woman and strength to the alpha male, but it should have been a one-night stand. Let's put it that way. But with that being said, it was one of those things to where I missed out on those opportunities as a kid. And I always promised myself in my teens and my 20s that if I ever had that opportunity with 2 of the most amazing sons, part of this really has been for my older son's college education. I promise you that I'm raising 2 very respectful young men to make this world a better place. So just to be able to give them this gift, and it's really from the Star Wars community who's given me this opportunity. I can't tell you how priceless it is. From Elvis's Graceland to Disney World with my younger son last year. We also did the Lewis and Clark Trail this year. We've been down to Corpus Christi, where we visited the USS Lexington, Tombstone, Arizona, which was such a fun Western town. We went to Mount Rushmore. We've done Bismarck, North Dakota. Again, more of the Lewis and Clark Trail. Marceline, Missouri, which was the hometown of Walt Disney himself, to find his inspiration of Main Street, USA, as well as the train station, as well as Hannibal, Missouri, home of one of the greatest writers of American history, Mark Twain. It's just been absolutely amazing. Lexington Concord is going to be coming up in Massachusetts, as well as Valley Forge down in Philadelphia. And then also to pay my respects to my soundtrack throughout the entire road trip, which is Johnny Cash and the beautiful June Carter over in Nashville, Tennessee. It's just been absolutely amazing. We're also going to pay our respects to the Cherokee tribe in northwestern Georgia. So it's just been amazing. I've been a big history buff, a big pop culture fan as well with movie locations. We visited The Outsider's house in Tulsa, one of the greatest films to ever bring so many movie stars to life. John Hughes locations in Chicago. It's just been an absolute dream come true. And like I said, I can't do enough to give back to the community as a way of saying thank you for this small opportunity. I have, as you know, of Gecko on my shoulder, but I'm debating, I know Dan's got one on his calf, I'm debating one of the Star Wars community almost a yin and a yang. Because again, with the side characters, let's face it, I've been in this business for over 20 plus years. They would never, ever exist, except maybe for Marvel, and not even Marvel. It's pretty much about the top 6 stars without the love and the care of the Star Wars community. And I can't tell you how grateful I am every day for that.
Wow.
Do your sons have any interest in acting, seeing you all doing all of this and seeing like the benefits that it can bring to give back?
Not to get deep and emotional here, but I think a lot of actors get into the business because there was an emotional deprivation. I'm very proud to say that between my wife and I, we have given them an extreme level of the need or the hunger or the passion is there, but in the most beautiful way, because we have been there unconditionally with them ever since they were born. So thankfully, no. I think a lot of artists, I think it's beautiful to want to get into this art, but I think more often than not, there is some sort of angst to get you to have that level of conviction, that level of passion, to be able to pull you through not only the work itself, but also the business, which takes a tremendous amount, almost to, ad nauseum in terms of pursuing it. So I'm very happy to say that neither one of them have the desire. They find it amusing, but also I'm hoping that they find their path in just sort of a Zen business that makes them happy and content, and also filled with all the love that their mother and I have given them since birth.
Very
Have
nice.
they, this is sort of a trip, and I remember mentioning before when we talked about, people haven't just got out in a long time, and this is probably, when you're taking your family on a road trip, which I think, every parent needs to give their child a long, excruciating car ride just because everybody has to go through it. But what has been some of their reactions to the trip itself and just going through this? Because it's one thing to talk about it, they see the pictures and everything's kind of frozen in time, but those legs in between, how are they holding up, and what have been some of their reactions to all this?
It's funny. My son actually mentioned me today because we had an 11 and a half hour journey from Wichita to Bismarck, and just how it just sort of flew by. There's something with an adrenaline rush in terms of not only the excitement of where we're going, the fact that this is a Star Wars journey, which, I mean, again, it's not like we're going to drop off bricks up in Bismarck and then we've got to go down to Texas to pick up some milk. It's one of these things where it's Star Wars. I also can't say enough. I mean, not to knock New York and LA, but the one thing for me growing up in New York and Los Angeles is that it's more, I hate to generalize, but it's very self-centered. There's a lot more narcissism. There's a little bit more self-centeredness in terms of their own goals and dreams. Not to take anything away from the people of Los Angeles or New York, but it's very hard-nosed. It's a way to grow up and to gain tough skin. But with that being said, the one beautiful thing that keeps us motivated all throughout the Midwest is the fact that you take this, just the idea of the fact of how successful this tour has been. It would not have been without the beautiful people of the Midwest and the South, that Southern hospitality of genuinely caring about someone else's dream. Think about that for a second. You've got Instagram right now to where it's all about me, 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 me. And just the fact that you have countless people throughout our country who genuinely are rooting for someone else, it's just absolutely priceless. I think it's infectious with my sons in that they feel that level of love. Normally you would be homesick. I want to get back home to LA. From Tulsa, Oklahoma to Wichita, Kansas, there is a lot of beauty out in this country. I think the media does a horrible job in terms of creating this sort of segregation in many different ways. But there's a lot of just sort of zen. And I think my kids have sort of fed off that to where it's such a breath of fresh air versus LA, to where it's like, unless you're George Clooney or Will Ferrell, there's really no regard for you as maybe, in terms of what your worth is. And it's just beautiful to go to these small towns, and it doesn't matter how much they have. It's like that old song Chicken Fried there. I forget the band, Zach Brown. Of just the simplicity of appreciating people, not by how they look, not by how much money they have, not what car they drive, but just what's right here. And I tell you, I'm just so happy to be able to expose my children to that, because it gives them a better perspective, as opposed to some of these little pricks, forgive me, in high school and elementary school, junior high school in LA and New York.
Amazing. Let me, Dominic, let me ask you, backtrack a little bit. The fan-made comic book, I know I've heard you talk with some of our other podcast friends about it, but it's quite an international endeavor. You've got artists and writers from different places. Can you go through that a little bit and tell us a little bit about how that came to play?
Absolutely. It was just around Christmas. Marvel was so kind. I'll tell you, they were rooting for me like you wouldn't believe. Star Wars Bounty Hunters people from that beautiful comic there that's doing so well, and I support them 110%. There was no hard feelings. But it was just around Christmas, and my heart was broken because obviously not being in season 2, understanding the motion, that just like athletes have to go through at the major league level, to where you're yesterday's news before you even know what the hell hit you, especially in Hollywood these days where there's so much content that you can be yesterday's news in a matter of just a New York minute. So I had a gentleman from New York, from Maryland, forgive me, and he wanted to write. He was passionate about writing and fleshing out Gecko's Wikipedia. Even after episode 1, he was just this genuine fan. As we know, Star Wars fans are so passionate; they'll create a whole 3D print of Gecko and I don't even know who the person is, just as genuine fans. It was a gentleman from Maryland who suggested, if Marvel's not going to go through it, what about a fan fiction comic where you're just selling your autograph, you're not selling the comic, and just consider it as fan art? Not knowing all the legal terms, etc., I just said, well, sign me up. Let's do it again, and let's go ahead and show Disney again that we mean business in the most respectful way. That they might be overlooking us from overlooking an ambassador because obviously we not only have this connection with the fan base, but I think as a performer it would be really special to have somebody so passionate, enthusiastic to get behind their own bounty hunter. We searched out for about 2 weeks, and believe it or not, it was overseas. It was a gentleman by the name of Flavio Pop, that's his artist name, from Armenia. And we had this beautiful transparency where I just sort of commissioned him as we went with about 16 pages there in the comic. And I had a colorist, believe it or not, from Brazil. His name was Thiago Brandão de Paula. And we just had this beautiful email chain go back and forth for about a good month. And to where we got it off the ground. I started little by little reaching out to the comic book stores. Every comic book store that hosted me last year wanted to have me back. And long story short, Hawaii was our first stop. We had a line for about 3.5 hours. And again, I just can't tell you how grateful I am. This is, again, trying to go towards my son's college. But it just absolutely was amazing in terms of the reception. The work that they did on it, I thought was absolutely outstanding. A great little fan-friendly sort of situation to where, starting with COVID, because people are struggling, people are out of work, I don't charge for selfies. I don't have a handler. And now not only are you going to get a $25 signed photo, but also you're going to get a complimentary signed comic to go with it, out of respect to LFL and Marvel for allowing me to have this opportunity to promote my character, to be proud of the character, and also being proud to be part of the Star Wars universe, along with supporting small business, as well as a handful of charities that were involved in along the way here. 50 comic book stores. We're about 15 in, and it's just been a dream come true. There is absolutely not one bit of fatigue. It's just been absolutely amazing to not only, like I said, enjoy my son as my co-pilot there, and also be able to have this amazing, infectious positivity throughout the Star Wars universe, as well as the Midwest, with so many amazing people.
So commendable.
That's awesome, and I know Greg was trying to show us the comic book.
Don't hire me as your promotional guy. I'm sitting there like, ooh, see.
Hey, no spoilers.
Well, something about that, just real quick, and when it comes to, because collecting and collectibles is kind of a lot of things I talk about, and when you talk about A-listers, it's like when you're talking about going after an autograph or like maybe pulling someone big. Those are great, and never let it be said that I would turn away a Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill autograph. But when you can have a connection to someone like an autograph, and I've had Dominic, sign a few things, and I love every one of them because there's a connection, there's a memory in that autograph that ties to that thing. I mean, we have, as you see in Rose, we have shelves and things, but when you can make a connection to something, and something as special as this, and the comic is phenomenal. It really means a lot. And I can't probably push enough stuff in front of this guy to sign, just because every time it does, it just makes me smile whenever I see it. And I go, wow, that was, there's my little connection to the Star Wars universe that he gets to provide us with this. And I hope other people get a chance to see this comic book. It was like I said, it was an amazing work, a great story, a nice one. I was really blown away by it. And it was just really fun. And I'm hoping more people get a chance to see it.
Thank you so much. And like I said, it just for me, I think the older that we get, at least a lot of us, some of us maybe get grumpy. For me, I mean, it's a cliche. What is it from Rent? 500,000, whatever, so many minutes. How do you measure life? And, we can get cancer at any point or get sick at any point. But the whole thing is, I would love nothing more than another 88 IMDb credits or, a nice mansion or a beautiful car. But I learned about 5-6 years ago, I just had the touch of love in my life of so many people and just realized that ultimately was the most important element in this world. And for me to be able to, like I said, touch people and that level of positivity, I felt it last year with people that just needed to get out of the house, even not so much for me, but just for the joy that this franchise has brought to so many people. It just, again, it's been so infectious. I just told PR, though, I said, at the end of the day, though, please, as much as I'm happy and honored with this licensed piece, I just would love to be an ambassador, but I can only take episode 1 and 3 so far. So we're hopeful that they'll throw Gecko in, obviously, with the video games, with season 3 of The Mandalorian, with animation. Bad Batch. Dave has this beautiful way of intertwining some of the old Cantina characters. What a beautiful Easter egg it would be for the fans to see Gecko in one way or another. So we're hopeful, but like I said, I'm just trying to get it all in before the new 5 shows, because then again, just knowing this business, being in the business for 20 years, you got that wave, and unfortunately the wave will go away if they don't continue on. So we hope that LFL will do the right thing, but again, ultimately, I can't even be upset because they're giving me such freedom with their franchise. I think it's almost unheard of, especially when you're running with a fan fiction comic and we're getting this amount of attention.
That's fantastic, and we already have a couple of people in the chat asking, but I know early on you had the comic book for sale, or the comic book available, on your website, but is that one of the things that you're bringing to Chicago? Are you touring with what are some of the things that you are touring with that people can obtain for their own collections?
Absolutely. You've got about 8 different illustrations. The fans and the illustrators have been just absolutely amazing in bringing Gecko to life with fan art. So again, with a purchase, the way that it works, with a purchase of any signed photo at $25, it comes with a complimentary signed comic. We have 4 variant covers. Even a better deal is all 4 variant covers are $80. You get 4 autographs, and then you also get 4 autographs of 4 prints, as we have to only be selling the photo of Gecko there, and for the sale there and such. So an amazing deal for the fans. They can always reach out to me. I don't get a million different emails. I'm not Vin Diesel on social media. So if they ever want to reach out, I'm happy to have them send a PayPal. And we have the hardcover envelopes there. We're happy to mail out anywhere in the United States as well as internationally there.
That's awesome, and I know you've been getting some really great, mileage out of Aubrey's image there that we've been using from time to time. A wonderful artist, a wonderful person. We've interviewed her and talked to her about her art, and obviously the image of half Gecko and half Dominic. The Gecko portion there was Aubrey Eden's Duke work, which is really fantastic. I've seen a lot of the artists, a lot of the artwork, and some of the custom action figures that have come down the line, even from last year. What are some of the things, and I know you keep getting stuff, shown to you and sent to you. I know you talked recently about your Gecko's blaster and how wonderful it is to have that. What are some of the other elements or some of the other fan-made products that just blow you away? What have you seen?
Oh boy, well, there's one gentleman, Anthony DiGirolamo from San Pedro, where they were able to find out that my gauntlets were actually from a Pike Sentinel. It's a character from Solo, so they're able to actually get that specified. Now they have a gauntlet that actually lights up.
Oh, nice.
At the 501st, as you know, they're very involved in getting a very specific costume that is very screen accurate. And there's a member of the 501st from Omaha who's actually working on the entire costume of Gecko so that he can cosplay it for children's hospitals, for all the events that they have. And that's just obviously such a great honor, not to mention all these beautiful illustrations. There is one Topps licensed artist who is pushing to go ahead and get another sketch card into a new Bounty Hunter series from Topps of Gecko. And again, I just can't tell you how blown away I was last September, where not only somebody recreated an entire Funko Pop or created a Funko Pop of Gecko, but they actually did the box art as well. If this isn't something to tell LFL or Hasbro, the Mandalorian definitely needs some blue snaggletooth or some Amon of just that one rare figure with a limited release of a Black Series, what have you. I think if there is somebody to raise their hand, I think it would be Gecko. And again, just for that Charizard-like style of being that rare, sort of obscure character. I don't know what the numbers were for them in the sequel trilogy as far as secondary characters. It seems like Disney obviously wanted to play it safe with Baby Grogu and Pedro and with Gina and with Carl. But obviously, there was one fan who created an entire, I put it on Twitter, a 96 card back of Season 1 and Season 2. And I think, the fact that John and Dave and Kathleen hit a home run with The Mandalorian, I think the fans would obviously come back out, just like we did before Episode 1, and line up at midnight at Toys R Us for not only, Natalie Portman and for Hayden, but also for, the little odd C-3PO droid or for the off-color R2 unit, because people just love that, especially when there's a home run with a Star Wars film. And obviously Mandalorian has just been right up there with some of the best there.
Absolutely, and Greg is all into card collecting and talking about cards, so I really hope we get a Gecko card. That would be really awesome. I'm going to cross my fingers on that one, but looking forward to the licensed products. So that is definitely a start, and we are on our way. Thank you so much. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then Aubrey Eden Dukes, I reached out to her because, again, with this sort of charity thank you tour for next year, just as a thank you, I wanted her to create something. She's done such an amazing job with all the work of Gecko, of something where Gecko is in a circle, not to be cheesy, but just almost in a circle with the 501st, with the small business communities, as a way of sort of saying thank you and togetherness, that we all got through it together. Again, these big box stores, they got to stay open, and, the rich were getting richer. But for us, we all stuck together as a Star Wars community, and as Americans, every culture, every race, every gender, together to make this happen. And it's just my way of sort of, I think I would love Gecko to sort of be a symbol of that level of togetherness with everyone, where we're all equal, we're all one, and we all help each other out. And I just can't tell you how grateful I am because I needed them just as much.
Yeah, and I just put up her Twitter handle, Obs the Blix. Again, great artist. We spoke to her, had a wonderful conversation about her artwork and her inspiration and all that wonderful stuff. So please give her a follow. Tell her the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast says hello. We'll have her on the show. I'd love to have her at ScarifCon too. Obviously, we've spoken with other artists. Yoshi Vu worked on The Mandalorian. He also worked on Rise of Skywalker. It would be awesome. Dominic, I think next year we're going to probably just take over United Center or something like that and just get it all going, man. Let's do this, boy.
Oh, man, that would be a Disney movie in itself. Gecko in quotes the bounty hunter. And literally, I mean, the Rudy Rudiger story of Star Wars, I think it would be great. One thing I did suggest on Rebel Force Radio, and again, not so much for me, but I really think Disney Plus, some added content. Don't get me wrong. It's great to watch Jeff Goldblum eat ice cream. I can watch him for days and all his little tours. But one thing I think would be beautiful, starting with Carrie, Kenny Baker, Peter Mayhew, would be a Star Wars story, individual episodes of actors, people on production. And again, maybe the 13th or 14th episode, Gecko, a Star Wars story in terms of our story and our journey with the Star Wars community at a small level in regards to how we've inspired and we've been a part. And I think a very unique story of love and togetherness within our own right, but also to the positivity of Star Wars. So I think that's something that hopefully they'll explore, again, starting with the legends of Peter and Kenny and Carrie, who unfortunately have gone too soon, along with Jeremy Bulloch. And David Prowse, but hopefully there'll be a documentary section as well for Disney Plus. I would highly suggest that because I know the fans, I think, would eat that up as far as some of the behind-the-scenes stories as to how people became a part of the Star Wars universe, and even productions assistants, second ADs. Maybe they're you have a mother of three, who's trying to figure out how she's going to get to work and at the same time support her family. But the fact that she's working for Lucasfilm, she's in heaven. Things like that, I think, might be very inspirational for the channel there.
Time to get a petition started.
I think so. I'm on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And another petition to hire me to produce all those.
Yeah.
Not self-serving at all, but So give us a little preview of what your next steps are before you get to Chicago. I know you're on the road already. I'm going to put up some video that we shot last year with you. We can talk over it, folks. It really is an amazing event. It's fun. We had a little bit of a rainstorm right before last year, but it cleared up by the time we set up, and it was just a lot of fun.
Typical teenager.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But give us a little preview of what to expect when we see you in Chicago.
Well, obviously, we are right now in Illinois, so we have a stop at I Have That Toys. We also have a stop in, it's at Belleville, Illinois, and then we're in Jacksonville, Illinois at Destination Toys. And then Chicago would be from noon to 5. It's just it seems like the heads of the 5 families, the heads of the 5, look at that. I can't believe he put Echo on the back of his cap.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're going to have Dan Duddich there. And again, people, going through a financial struggle, even if you want to come up, I've had a few families to where, no town is too small for me. Just say, look, we just want to come up and shake your hand and get a picture. I couldn't be happier. It's going to be an emotional day for me because I'm saying goodbye to my son. Look, he's got to have some enjoyment there. I mean, this has been kind of nonstop. So he's going to go with his mom. My wife grew up in Washington State. So he's going to be spending 3 to 4 weeks over there and just to enjoy and get some R&R. He's got an extremely intense schedule with his school. So we're going to be riding solo here from July 10th to August 23rd to where we need to run as hard as we can. And again, go ahead and just make sure that we're getting Gecko out there the best we can and showing LFL that we have a support system that is certainly worthy of continuing Gecko on for many years to come. All the way to that point.
Absolutely. We see all our friends out there at AlleyCat Comics. Really wonderful stuff. It's not just 12 to 4, but we do a little pizza eating afterwards. I'm excited for that too. Absolutely.
And yeah, all the fans are welcome. Hopefully we can go to that same restaurant again. That was so delicious. Italian, I'll tell you, New York is usually number one, but Chicago, you just cannot compete also with just the amazing, not only Italian, but also you've got your German, your Polish influence, the Irish influence, so many beautiful cultures there in Chicago. It's really some of the best food. It's hard to keep the waistline down here at 45, especially on the road. I got to get a little cardio in each morning, but Chicago is one of those where you say, hey, you know what? We're going to have a cheat day no matter what.
Don't come to Miami.
Eat light. Eat very light.
Yeah.
Earlier in the day, and then you can save up for that hit you're going to take after Scarif Con.
Exactly. That restaurant, the lovely restaurant, is Kalo's Pizza, Kalo Restaurant, and I had a wonderful time with you last time, and looking forward to that again. And Nicole is right; you can't be in Chicago and not have pizza. But yeah, absolutely. Dominic, I want to thank you for your time. I know you are on the road and kids are doing laundry, so
we got it.
Keep them grounded.
One of the beautiful things is just sort of teaching him time management. This wasn't just so much for obviously fun and vacation. At the same time, structure, customer service, community, reaching out, and also, like I said, you have time management and sort of just being religious in our schedule, just prepping him for life, especially with boys. A lot of times they say if you have a daughter, you have a child forever. But these sons, a lot of times that's it. Once they're 18, if you do your job correctly, they're actually gone for a long time there. So we're going to miss him. I'm proud to say I think I've raised him really well, but I'm going to miss him to death there in a couple of years because I know he's going to have a very successful future ahead of him. But this trip was also to teach about structure and about getting it done yourself, even with the smallest opportunity in our country.
Absolutely. Yep. Very nice. My son is 16. He's playing games in the other room. But it just, they grow up fast, and it's just wonderful that you're doing this, having this trip with him and teaching him all the stuff and just obviously making memories for him and showing him what dear old dad is up to when he's in costume and makeup. And then all the stuff that he gets to do. But Dominic, before I close out with our guest, Chantel, Greg, you guys have any final questions or anything you want to add?
Chantel, you want to
No,
go
just
first?
yeah, sure. I don't have any questions, but I just really commend like what you're doing. So I've always been very much about charity and stuff like that, especially having gone to Catholic schools almost my entire life. Charity has always been like embedded in me. So I can't
Yeah.
say like thank you enough. I really admire what you're doing. I wish I could do the same, honestly.
Thank you so much. A few shout outs there. We worked with a domestic abuse shelter in Alaska, Make-A-Wish Foundation in Tulsa, Oklahoma. With Fort Dodge, Iowa, it was a children's hospital. We'll be working with domestic abuse victims of Brazil. Believe it or not, we have a following a Brazilian community in Massachusetts. And then there will be the Aflac Children's Hospital down in Atlanta. So again, we're hopeful we can be even have a more of a powerful presence within that Star Wars universe to make even a bigger impact and more of a larger financial impact on just great causes, not only dear to LFL's heart, but also to local communities there who have been there for me. I can't do enough for them. So thank you for acknowledging that. I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
One thing I just wanted to say, I couldn't. The nice thing it was, like as far as like the AlleyCat, stop last year and this year was it was so much fun to look forward to, especially given all the things we've gone through. And nothing made my heart happier to hear that you were going to do this once again. There'd be one thing to be a little bittersweet going, oh man, is this the last time we're ever going to see him? Or you're going to be able to look forward to this? But if we get a chance, I'm going to make my pitch now. I'm really hoping that as far as this farewell tour, that AlleyCat Comics is going to be a part of it. Because it's just really fun. I think the buildup and the anticipation is what makes it fun, and then just seeing everybody get together. And I think, like I said, it's just you're this ringleader that just kind of brings everybody together and brings kind of the best out of all of us in doing this. And I can't wait for this weekend, and I can't wait to see another tour, and you get to do all this again, because it's been so much fun to follow you along on all this.
Yeah, again, I know we talk about Black Series, and I know we talk about 3.75, but the fact that the license piece revolves around celebration, again, I think we got something to look forward to next year, if anything. And like
Sweet.
I said, hopefully LFL, with all the expansion of Bad Batch, of Book of Boba, you've got Mandalorian Season 3, I can't see how they won't, but either way, fortunate to have a solid career outside of the Star Wars universe with many other TV shows. We've got 3 projects in the pipeline that will air this fall. But either way, we'll be here forever, even if not as a Star Wars ambassador, definitely as everyone's friend. But next year should be a lot of fun, because this was something that could not have happened. I think it's very historic without the help of the Star Wars community. So everyone is a part of seeing Gecko on this license piece as well.
Awesome. And you're doing so much. I do feel that you tapped into the cloning technology, because you seem to be everywhere doing all sorts of things. One day I see you in St. Louis, then you're in Albuquerque, and you're over here. It's just amazing. I see how much fun you're having.
Yeah, I think, I equate it to the end of Superman, and again, rest in peace to the legendary director Richard Donner, who we lost yesterday.
Yeah.
But when Superman was going about 3, 4, 5 times, a million times around the world, in order to make that impact with the mountain that is Disney and LFL, I think you have to hustle that hard in order to show them what you're worth. Because again, you can imagine there's got to be a million resumes thrown at that door of LFL and Disney. Who doesn't want to be a part of this great franchise? So we've got to go about 3, 4 times harder, just like Rudy Rudiger. I equated that Gecko to him in many different ways in order to make that impact. And we hope that they're paying attention. I know that they're paying attention.
Absolutely. And we thank you for what you do. We thank you for being such an amazing Star Wars ambassador for the fans, especially, for everything that you've done, both in front of the screen and off the screen in your travels, Dominic. Thank you so much, Dominic. I don't know what else to say, but we will see you on Saturday, my friend.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great
Thank you.
evening, and all my best to your listeners there.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Dominic. Take care.
Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful
What a
discussion
nice guy.
with our friend Dominic Pace, and this weekend is going to be fantastic. We've got a whole bunch. You guys are obviously coming. We've got Todd from WSTR Galactic Public Access coming. We've got Rob from Jedi Temple Archives coming. We've got Trevor Beast, who is we're going to do an actual live Sentry Mode questionnaire. I got a whole bunch of giveaways ready to go. We've got some surprises in store. when we do our live presentation at AlleyCat Comics from 2 to 4. I'll probably do some live stuff beforehand, just little tidbits, tours of the store, setup, all that stuff. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and I really appreciate everybody supporting Scarif on this venture. This is 3 years in a row, and I couldn't be happier. I love it. Thank you, guys. Any final thoughts? We had such a great discussion with our friend Dominic. Any takeaways?
So down to earth.
I think so, yeah.
Very
just such a
down
blue
to
chipper.
earth. Yeah. I really admire his I like passionate people. And I can tell he's very passionate about what he does. And that just like you send out that vibe and it just you feed off of it and it just makes you want to pitch in. So I can't wait to actually meet him in person on Saturday. I can't wait to meet all of you in person on Saturday.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're very excited. And, too bad, Brad. We got to get Brad out to one of these real soon. But, we've got we got a lot of patrons coming. We got 97 Bravo. We got our friend Nicole that's going to come. And I hope she stays for dinner because it's going to be a lot of fun. For sure.
I'm staying.
Oh, you gotta get the food.
Absolutely.
Where there's food, and that's where I'll be.
Well,
absolutely.
One thing, Ro, I mean, in following, Dominic along, and I know that, he aggressively, just took the opportunity that he was given with this. And I remember even before, before he appeared in The Mandalorian, and it's one of those where it's like, I think it's a great example of someone who's taking their shot and going, look, this may be what you get, but you have the opportunity. And everybody else who's an extra and things like that had pretty much the same opportunity going, look, it's there. If you want to take the brass ring, do it. It may not be the highest accolades, but I think over the course of these last 2 years and plus, he's really just made such a great name for himself. And when you see those comments of people that are just like, this, nothing's like happened in this town like this, all those kind of smiles and like that, he's just made himself a legion of fans. And, in some ways his success is kind of our success. Absolutely. Because it's been fun to have him on. He's always made himself available to us. I mean, he'll talk to any podcast that's out there, and it's really great because, when he's on here, when he's doing this, I mean, he is in the moment, he is focused and very professional. And that's all you could really ask for somebody, is just to be like, hey, look, I'm giving you this time. And that's what you really, even as a spectator or a commentator in this, you just feel like, wow, he's spending this time with us. Obviously he's out, he's got a lot going on. But that's what's really fun. And I think when if you meet him on Saturday, if you're coming out to ScarifCon, that's just the thing. It's just say thank you for just being there because he's kind of like our representative. He's like, man, he's just a fan like us. He collects just like us. And he gets to have this tour, and we just kind of we're along for the ride, and that's what makes it great.
Absolutely. Really looking forward to hanging out with you guys and seeing what kind of trouble we can get into afterwards.
I like it.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm such a lightweight. With 2 drinks, it's over. You guys are in for a show.
Welcome.
Now you get that food base on. You get the food base on
It
first.
won't matter.
It won't matter.
It won't matter. What a drunk. Shanti's a drunk.
I'm not just a lightweight because I don't drink.
Shenanigans.
Yeah,
Absolutely shenanigans. Red 5 shenanigans.
Great representation in the chat room as well. I love all these folks. It's hard, I was like
really
listening
lively.
to Dominic, but also watching
I know,
the
I'm
chat.
trying to chat with everybody too, so thanks to everyone for coming. It's been fun.
Awesome. All right, guys. Any final thoughts? I think this was a good one. We thank, obviously, if you didn't catch Dominic, you're just joining you now. There's
wait for the replay.
Wait for the replay. May the force be with you. Greg, I gotta ask you, man. Thank you very much. I got to tell you, thank you very much for joining us, and actually, thank you very much for putting those IDs together. You've been sending me some amazing photos. They look pretty damn official. I love it. Thank you so much.
No problem, and it's been fun. Like I was cutting them tonight after work, and we got the I got the slip covers in them. We got the lanyards for them, and they're flat. And so, like I said, for most cons, most people like, bring some pins. Like, I'll have some pins available. These lanyards are great to like hold cards, or, if you want to have Dominic sign them. And so, it's like, because we're going to have all this stuff. And that's what makes it fun, is just having this little, and you did such a great job on the artwork. I'm like, anytime I was thinking like, hey, maybe I'll do this, it's like Rose, like, yeah. And he throws it out. I'm like, damn, that's tight. Your Photoshop skills are like right up there. So it looks really great. And, like I said, if he's coming next year, then okay, then maybe we can make an even nicer one. And then that way, like everybody likes a little swag. I'll be having some cards that I'll be giving away. I do have a factory set of The Force Awakens that I'll figure out how to give away somehow. But yeah, looking forward to giving away some swag. I think everybody will like a little nice little souvenir that you don't have to carry around. You got it right there. You can put some stuff in it, and it should look pretty good. Can't wait to have everybody see it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Shanti, where can people find you on the interwebs?
Twitter.
Twitter. Give my co-host a follow. And Greg, tell us a little bit about your podcast and where can people find you?
Alrighty. Well, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the Rebel Base Card, as well as Facebook. Right now, we're also doing a special insert series on the Bad Batch called Batch for Breakfast with my co-host Gregory Cass, who is Ion Cannon on Twitter and Instagram as well. We've been kind of breaking down, waiting for the everybody else to do their great breakdowns of the Bad Batch. We just ask questions. We're like, what did we just see? And then, we kind of get some community access happening there, but it's kind of fun. And then we go listen to everybody else do a better job of podcasting while we're doing that. But in between the Rebel Base Card podcast, we talk to, card collectors, people in the community, cosplayers, whatnot, anybody who's willing to sit down and listen to me ask them a bunch of questions about anything as far as that's concerned in the Star Wars universe. It's really fun. And I appreciate everybody who gives a listen or even gives a little bit of their time. It's been a great ride.
Awesome. Great show. Great. Greg and Greg.
What did he say? Bacon and Greg's, I think was Gregory Cass's thing. So
that's good.
I like that. Yeah,
it's a good one.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. All right. I want to thank everybody for joining us in the chat. We had such a wonderful conversation with our friend Dominic Pace, and we are going to see everybody on Saturday again. AlleyCat Comics, Scarif Con 2021. I love it.
By name. Ask for it by name.
Ask for it by name. The only network doing a Scarif Con, damn it. ScarifCon 2021, AlleyCat Comics. If you guys are in the Chicagoland area, if you're watching this and want to hang out with Dominic Pace and some other Star Wars fans, head on over to AlleyCat Comics. It's on Clark Street in the Andersonville neighborhood in Chicago. I know a lot of people are heading over. Well, I just want to say thank you, everybody. This is Ro from the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. Shanti and Greg, thank you guys for joining me. Brad, I hope you're safe wherever you are. And that's the Scuttlebutt. Love you guys.